Time for Entre Nous. On the show today, we are pleased to welcome Alessandro Petazzi, CEO of LastMinute.com. The company is one of Europe's leading online travel firms, helping travelers book flights, hotels, and holiday packages. And as the summer travel season kicks off, we'll be discussing where the French are heading and how they're spending and the biggest trends shaping travel in 2026. Alessandro, thank you for joining us on the program today. So tell us, where are the French going, and are you seeing more people opting to remain here in Europe?
Hi, Delano. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me. Yes, actually, three-quarters of the bookings are still on the classical sun and beach destinations across the Mediterranean, the Canary Islands, Greece, the Balearic. But actually, we've seen an interesting uptake in North African destination for French customers. Egypt, Tunisia, all up 20%. Also Morocco. We'll see if that continues after the match tomorrow night, right?
Any surprising new hotspots you're seeing emerge?
Well, yeah, I think that we've seen a lot of growth in Montenegro and Bulgaria, both because these are new destinations. So, you want to combine a bit of the classics. So Tenerife up 40%, but then Bulgaria up 70%, Montenegro up 90%. I think there's a mix of, yes, I want to discover new places, but also I want to make sure that I get the best value for my money. And these clearly are destinations which deliver in that sense.
Interesting. What about people coming to here, to France? Where do they tend to go typically?
Well, it's mostly fellow Europeans. So a third of the people coming to France are the Brits. Sorry about that. But then there's also a lot of Italians and Germans. And what I think is interesting is that especially the Brits, over 50% of people obviously go to Paris. There's still the lion's share of bookings. But then a big portion of them, especially the Brits, travel around the country. So we've seen a lot of growth in cities such as Toulouse, Marseille, and then from Marseille going also to the Gorge du Verdon or, to the French Riviera. So it's more mixed. It's not just Paris, I would say.
Alessandro, have you noticed any trends given these ongoing heat waves we've seen here in France? We had a heat wave just about 2 weeks ago. We're sort of experiencing a mild one right now. Any trends that people are trying to run away and escape the heat?
Yeah, definitely. It's such a trend that we have a name for it. We call it like the coolcation. And actually, it affects a lot of European countries, I would say. And people are traveling to some places in France, by the way. So Normandy and Brittany, for example, are two destinations in France which grew precisely for that, even if Scandinavia is the one getting the lion's share. So people traveling to Sweden, to Norway. I also personally traveled to the Lofoten Islands in Norway, and I can testify that they're beautiful, beautiful places.
And what about flight prices? Because, of course, your travel company, as you know, there were hopes that the ceasefire agreement would take hold. The U.S. President Donald Trump seemed to suggest it's no longer the case. Are prices about to get more expensive for people who haven't booked their travel yet?
Well, actually, that's a long thing. Basically, I think there was an expectation of prices to rise more than what happened. Because let's be honest, if the airlines could fill their planes by asking people to pay more, they would do it already. So clearly, if the prices rise too much, then people are not going to book their holiday. By the way, this is something that we saw a few months ago when people were really nervous about the situation in Iran, in which they really waited until the last minute to book their holiday. So we see, for example, this summer is even more than usual a last minute kind of bookings season. People are booking now for their holidays in July and August rather than doing that in May. But no, prices we're seeing them quite stable, to be honest.
Alessandro, final question. You mentioned Montenegro. For travelers who haven't really checked out cool, hot destinations in Europe, what would you suggest to them? What spot, besides the Greece, the Italies, the Frances, a new exciting destination that could be off the radar?
Yeah, well, obviously, it depends on the type of holiday that you want to have. If it's a sun and beach destination, I would say Montenegro is definitely probably the most interesting one. If you're looking for more of a culture trip and discovering new cities as well, I think Poland is very interesting. We've seen a lot of growth there, but still very much, say, off the beaten track. Places such as Krakow and Gdansk are great for a fly and drive trip, for example.
And probably good for a coolcation too as well. Alessandro.
Yeah, definitely.
Alessandro Petazzi, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you for joining us on the program today. And don't forget, you can check out more editions of Entre Nous on our website at france24.com. More news coming up. Stay with us.